Hi, my name is Marco. I'm from AEB, and today I'm going to present our second chapter of our 2020 catalog. This is the chapter regarding the yeast, nutrients, and bioregulators. So you see in the first page of this chapter a nice chart with all the ppm of yan that you can introduce by adding our nutrients. Exactly 1 pound per thousand will give you, for example, for the Innovate P, 25 ppm of yeast available nitrogen yan. This addition is also equal to 120 ppm or 12 grams per hectoliters. You see a lot of different nutrients with different numbers. So the maximum you reach by adding DAP, so ammonia, which is Innovate. Innovate is DAP with 0.2% thiamine. All the others obviously have other components in the mix, mainly micronutrients to accelerate certain reaction, amino acids, vitamins. We see, for example, Ferm Plus DAP-free, all the natural vitamins that come with this nutrients, thiamines, for example, which is a crucial vitamin to keep your lag phase short. Lag phase is when the yeast is preparing all its cofactors, transporter, and this vitamin really helps this phase to be accelerated and have the yeast dominate on the other microorganism. Also, in this nutrient, you get all the other vitamins from the B range, the B2, B3, B5, B6, B8, B9, B12. Very interesting one is the pyridixine here last in the list because it's used for transaminases, and transaminases are cofactor that you need during the synthesis of different amino acids and esters for the aromatics. Going back to the yan, what is this yan, yeast available nitrogen number that you need to get? First of all, you need to see where you're starting from, measure the yan your juice is coming in. And then you want to have target yan that you want to reach by adding these nutrients. So we give you a factor here depending on the characteristic of the yeast. And in the chapter about the yeast, we tell you if each yeast is rather low demanding or high demanding for yan. Let's say you're using a Fermol Méditerranée, which we tag as being a low demanding yan strain. And say you want to use it for a Cabernet coming in at 24. So 24 is your Brix. You're multiplying by 7.5 and you get around 180. So that's the goal, the target yan that you want to get to have a smooth fermentation. Now, say you're coming in with an Albarino that is 22 Brix and you want to use an aromatic yeast like the Fermol Arome Plus. Well, in this case, you want to multiply that 22 Brix of your Albarino for 12.5 because the Arome Plus is high demanding in yan. So your 22 times 12.5, you're going to need roughly about 280, 275, 280 ppm of yan. So this is a little bit of a chapter about helping you decide how much yan you want to get to. What is the yeast doing with this yeast available nitrogen? Is basically building its own structure. The bricks for building is proteins, is enzymes, DNA, RNA. Those are all amino acids that need an amino group. So you will need nitrogen for this. Obviously, carbon comes from other sources, but nitrogen will be there and will be fed with this yeast available nitrogen that you get in the juice or with addition of nutrients. What happens when the yeast starts not finding the nitrogen? It will scavenge some nitrogen from the amino acids that are already present in the mix. Instead of synthesizing new ones, it will go and gets the nitrogen, for example, from methionine and cysteine, which happens to be sulfur-containing amino acid. That's why you have sulfites problem like H2S, rotten egg, aromatics in those fermentation where the nitrogen starts to be deficient. That's kind of an alarm that the yeast is running low in nitrogen and that you want to add some nutrients. So here we go through a quick list. We mentioned already that DAP-free is a product with no diammonium phosphate, rich in B vitamins, It's got glutamine, which is a precursor of glutamate, which is a very basic amino acid that is the starting point to form all the others amino acid with transaminases intervention. And transaminases are the ones that are facilitated by the B vitamin we mentioned before. So here in the diet-free, you get the amino acid to form other amino acid, and you get the vitamins to speed up this processing. This transaminase really works in both ways. So you saw how it gets you to the amino acid, but it gets you away from the amino acids here, back to the alpha keto acid and the aldehydes and higher alcohol. Higher alcohol, which will be esterified also because are not pleasant for the yeast. The higher alcohol is toxic to the yeast, so it is esterified and will form esters, which will also be used by the yeast to attract vectors, spread the species around, because everybody, including insects, not just us, will be attracted by these esters that have characteristics that are reminiscent of the graphics here, fruits and flowers. So good aromas for the bouquet, definitely increased by a good presence of amino acids. And that's what a nutrient like that free can do for you. We also went a step further and targeted certain amino acid, for example, with the Thermoplast Tropical, leucine and isoleucine, to boost certain aromatics. For example, in Chardonnay, we got a lot more of the pineapple. In Sauvignon Blanc, this nutrient affected both the tropical ester and the floral esters, giving a good boost, keeping though the balance of the floral ester higher as expected in Sauvignon Blanc. For another nutrient that we formulated, we actually looked at the composition of the amino acid profile from Gruner Veltliner, very floral variety from Austria, and in this variety, phenylalanine is a very high amino acid, and so we focused on that to form a new nutrient called Thermoplast Floral, which is recommended for all those floral varieties like Riesling, for example, and also Sauvignon Blanc, obviously. Another product, we call it a new product because it went in our first trials toward the end of ours last year. We call it Thermoplast P-RAF because it has the peculiarity of capturing methoxypyrazine, which are coming from the vineyard and giving that green, peppery note to certain varieties like Cab Sauvignon, Cab Franc, but Merlot and many others, especially when there is not enough exposure to the light. So this methoxypyrazines are very hard to be eliminated, but if this product is used right after pectinase addition, so all the pyrazines will be free in the media, the matrix of this nutrient, which is mostly yeast-derived, will capture this pyrazine, absorb them, and then you will be able to eliminate them in the lees. So beside these products, sometimes winemakers have the necessity to really target higher YANs, and so add more of the mineral nitrogen, which is not contained in the P-RAF, which is not contained in the DAP-free, the tropical, or the floral. So we have what we call complex nutrients that have a portion of the ammonium phosphate that really boosts your YAN, and then a portion of yeast extract or yeast-derived nutrients, which will bring the amino acid, will bring the sterols to give a certain resistance to the membrane, will bring the micronutrients, and will bring the B vitamins. So we have three here in this page, Thermoplast Integrator, Thermoplast Blanc Varietal, and Premier Cru. They all come with a high YAN. They all come with amino acids for aromatics. The Blanc Varietal more geared for aromatics for white wines. The Premier Cru more geared for aromatics for red wines. They also come with a specific dose of vitamin B1, thiamine hydrochloride. So synthetic thiamine added in a specific amount. And here is a chart with the limits imposed by the local authorities, TTB in the US. So these three nutrients, but if you really need a strong addition in YAN, you can use straight DAP. This is a product called Innovit P that has also a 0.2% thiamine. Innovit P mixed in with cellulose is another product called Thermocell P. Cellulose is there as an inert component to give aziness to the juice in the tank. In this way, you'll know that the yeast is well distributed in the fermentation. Because if you have a very clean juice, sometimes certain pockets in the tank, in those pockets, the yeast flocculates down, they remain empty, and so the fermentation is not really going there. Maybe you'll have a contamination. So definitely an advantage to have an aziness, inert aziness in the tank caused by the cellulose of this product. The cellulose also absorbs toxins, including long-chain fatty acids and other things that are not positive for the yeast in fermentation. So we have a product without the DAP called Celloferm that you might find useful, for example, in restarting a stock fermentation when you really want to take out a lot of the toxins, a lot of the messages that the yeast are sending to each other that the fermentation is not going well and the fermentation needs to slow down. So this cellulose is going to take everything out and kind of clean the media for the fermentation to start again. So we call this product a Celloferm and doesn't have any yan. Lastly, we have a product for rehydration of the yeast. So when you're coming in with the dry yeast and you put it in water, first of all, the yeast is going to be challenged by the osmotic pressure of the water. So you want something in the water to balance this osmotic pressure. And this something better be loaded with the amino acid and the vitamin that the yeast needs in this stage to reconstitute the organelles that were damaged during the drying process. For example, the mitochondria. So in this product, there is a high concentration of this amino acid and vitamins readily available. That's why the dosage is so low, because it doesn't contain any fillers. It's all about the amino acid and the vitamins. You will need just 1 part of this for 4 parts of yeast. Say you're using 2 pounds of yeast for your fermentation, you need ½ pound of this nutrient called a Thermoplast Energy Glue 3.0. Glue stands for glutathione. In this phase, the yeast is literally bombarded with oxygen, and this can start free radicals that will damage organelles, especially the mitochondria. So glutathione is the way that the yeast has to defend itself from oxidants. And normally the yeast has it on its own, but at the dry stage, when the yeast is just getting rehydrated, it's better if this component comes from an external supplement. So I hope this was informative. You also have a QR code here that you can scan to know more about the Thermoplast Energy Glue. And we'll see you for the next chapter. Thank you.